Hi everyone, welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Julia Masalska and I'm really happy to have you all here. Thanks all for joining. I can see a lot of familiar faces here. Gabriela Munoz, Brian Ramos. Thanks all for joining. Michael, Vikash. Cool. I am so excited to have you all guys here. Thanks for joining. Let me know where you're all joining from. It's always really excited to see my international community. Cool. Well, you guys, today and tomorrow is going to be really exciting. We're going to be working on a vitamin brand, so stay tuned tomorrow as well. Today we're going to create a bunch of assets like logo and some patterns. We're going to create some color palettes. So we're basically going to create a little brand guideline for ourselves. Awesome. I see Italy in the house, Istanbul, Florida. Wow, Alberta. Cool. Texas, Indonesian. Great. Thank you so much for joining from all the parts of the world. It's really, really amazing to have you all guys here. So again, to get back to what we were going to be working for, it's going to be a vitamin brand. Today and tomorrow stream is going to be all about creating a brand from scratch. I really want to show you guys the process, how I'm working, and we are going to review some of your daily creative challenge submissions that Paul just introduced in about 90 minutes. I'm gonna get back to that in a little bit to show you how to submit your challenge and to show how the chat looks like. All right, cool. Let's take a quick look at that. All right, here we have the daily creative challenge. Let's update this one real quick. So you will always see the last challenge unlocked, and this is the challenge for today. It's all about text and fonts. So really exciting. I really love playing with typefaces, and we're going to do some of that as well in Illustrator in a little bit while we're going to be creating a logo. So yeah, so to get started, you just press get started, or you can watch the video where Paul introduces the daily creative challenge and the tools that you can use. Hi Michael from Hamburg. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so and here you can also participate in the community chat, and this looks like the following. So this is the community chat on Discord that we have. Here you can submit your artwork until in 90 minutes, but you can also submit after that. Just make sure to submit it in about 85 minutes if you want it reviewed live. So cool. And you can see there is a bunch of different tabs that you can go to. You can get a portfolio review here. As you can see, we have a bunch of mentors here, moderators that are always happy to give you some feedback. All right, so this is the daily creative challenge. Make sure to submit. It's always fun. You can also submit the yesterday's one. And if you like, you can also follow me on my Behance page. It's Julia for 6DF. I know it's a little weird, but I'm always happy to help, and just shoot me a message if you want a portfolio review. I do that quite often for young designers. And here you can see my Instagram page. It's just another sunny girl. If you like, you can follow me there. I will always keep you updated about future streams. I also have a YouTube channel that you can check out here. Oh, oops, this is actually the link to this stream here, but usually I have my recent YouTube video updated here in my links. I usually talk about freelance design and how to get clients, how to communicate with the clients. And I also started doing live streams where, for example, I design something quick like a perfume label. I just give you a little intro on my workflow. Okay, so what are we going to work on today? Here's a little preview of my, a little inspiration board that I've collected. So today we're going to be working on the vitamin brand, and as you can see, it's all very modern design, very solid colors, and I would like to create some contrast, maybe with some bright yellow here. So this is today's plan. We're going to create a logo. We're going to create a color palette. We're going to find some typefaces that we're going to use. But for all of you to stay up to date, let's take a look at the schedule for today. So we got started with Evan Abrams in motion design. Voodoo Val then introduced the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. By the way, if you're interested in learning Photoshop a little bit better, you can also participate in the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Jason Levine then did some video editing with us. It was very exciting. Then Paul Trani introduced us to the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, which is now at 11:30. Before it was a little later. So now I'm really excited that it's just before the graphic design stream. Now from 12 till about 2, you're going to be enjoying my presence. And then after that, Howard Pinsky is going to kick off the XD Daily Creative Challenge. So for those of you who are interested in UI and UX, it's probably very interesting to take a look at. Then Kyle T. Webster is going to do some draw along with you guys at 2:30. And Voodoo Val and Alex Lazaris are going to do the design off at 3 p.m. A very packed day. Cool. Hi Anna. I remember some of you guys here. Some of you guys are new. Some of the guys are Akin. Yeah, pastel, nice colors. Yes. I think this is a very modern type of approaching, modern brands. They rarely go with very bright colors. Usually it's a more subtle, and especially if we're talking about vitamins, you don't want to shock people with too much color. So yeah, I have brought some of my vitamins that I'm taking on a daily basis, just to see what kind of elements we need for packaging. And when we're designing, for example, something like a vitamin brand, we definitely need to think about the packaging and how the product will look on the shelf. So it's very important to consider that as well. All right, so I don't even have a name for our brand. So let's start with finding a name. So my process is I usually find some keywords that speak about the brand. Of course, brand research plays a big role. But if, for example, somebody just comes up to me, a very small business, and I have to do this on my own, I kind of try to figure out keywords that speak to the target audience, and I write those down. So for example, here I made a little like a little chart like this. So it says basically vitamins in the middle, and then it says the different keywords that speak about vitamins, or the vitamins are supposed to support. So for example, I have fit, I have health, I have stamina, I have performance. The brand that we're going to be creating today is going to be for males and females who are working out and being active, trying to keep an active lifestyle. So it's more like a modern woman, modern man approach. And what I do for that is I usually go on Pinterest and look for some inspirations, but you can also go onto for color inspiration, you can also go onto color.adobe.com. So here, cool. Here you can, this is very cool tool here. So at first you have this color wheel, you can play with the colors a little bit. And then you can also extract the theme from a picture, from a file. So let's take a look how this looks. So for example, I have this packaging here. So I can just drag and drop the picture in here, and it already gives me some kind of color palette. And I can then adjust the colors that I see to what I need. So I want to get all these 4 colors because I think they're very soft and they're very natural looking. So what you can do here is you can save this color. Okay. So what you're gonna do before you do this, you are going to create a new library. So for example, I was working on a perfume label. Here's the color palettes that I did, but now I'm working on a different project. So I create a new library, and this library I'm going to call vitamin brand. Okay. So now I have I'm connected to my Adobe apps, right, through the Creative Cloud. So the app knows that I'm using I created this library. So now when I'm going to my let me refresh this real quick. Okay, so when I'm going onto the Adobe Color site, it already knows that I created a new library. So then I'm going to select the same picture. All right, there we go. And I'm going to save this. And now it's saving to the Vitamin brand. Let me see. I hope you guys can see this. It's probably somewhere behind me. Okay, so it's saving to my Vitamin brand library, which means if I open Illustrator, I already have this color palette in my library, which is one of my assets that I've already created. And this is a really awesome tool. What I also like to do is I like to go ahead and explore colors that people uploaded. You can explore, you can also look at the trends. Let me take a look at the trends. So here basically what they do is they extract colors from recent posted projects on Behance. So here you will be able to see in a little bit. Hopefully this loads. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we have fashion, we have graphic design, we have illustration, interaction design. So here you can also get some of the color libraries online. It's also a very good source I like to use. All right, so now if we want to go back to our name search, I was telling you guys about the keywords that I wrote down. It's fit, health, stamina, performance. So now what I'm going to do is, for example, I'm going to look up healthy, right? Healthy, an adjective. It's always good to have adjectives because they describe the brand really good. So look, I already have some words that I can use from a brand name. For example, lively, robust, strong, tough, active. I think lively is a really good name. So I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to go ahead and spread this one out a little bit further. So I'm going to look for lively now and see what it gives me. Refreshing, stimulating, I think is also a very good word for a vitamin brand. Frisky, bright. I think bright is also a good name. So what I do is basically I create a bunch of little cards, little papers that I write the names on. And if I'm working for a brand, I'm usually creating around 100 of those and looking for synonyms, looking for words that kind of are self-invented but contain the meaning of the brand in them. So I create around 100 of those, and then it's very easy to pick the ones out that you like or you think that really work. So, oops. Okay. So then what you do is, what I do is, if I have already 100 filled out, I go ahead and make two piles. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And usually at that time I already have my favorites. So then I take my favorites. It's usually around 20. I present them to the client and I pick my 3 favorites, for example, to make the decision easier for them. So this is usually my process, and from there we might alter them, or maybe the client has alternative ideas. So let's go for lively for now. I think it's a really good one. And I'm going to bring this into Illustrator to show you guys who are new here how to open an Illustrator file or to create an Illustrator file. You go on to File, New. And the reason I'm showing this is because it just at the beginning you can already create a bunch of presets that you can use in your workflow. So here, for example, at the top bar you will see there is different ways to create for. Let me check what are you guys seeing here. Udenis is saying, love your process, thank you. Ashi, feeling so tired, I know. You guys are all from all over the place, so this is amazing. Okay, cool. So here you have different presets. For example, if you take a look at print, you will see that here the preset is the color mode preset is CMYK, which is the preset that you use for color prints for digital print. If you go onto web, for example, you will see that it's RGB because the digital color for presenting on a screen is RGB, red, green, and blue. Okay. So I'm deciding to choose the web color settings. Here I can also choose the orientation and so on. I'm going for, here you also have a bunch of presets for different kind of screens. I'm gonna go for web large, and I'm going to create one artboard for now, but you can also create 10 or 20 if you want to create a variety of logos, for example. And the cool thing here is also that you have a bunch of templates here that you can get from Adobe Stock, and you can also search for templates on Adobe Stock down here and save them to your libraries, which again makes it really easy to access. Cool. All right, web. I have my vitamin brand, or let's call it Lively. We already have it named. And the naming process is not nearly as quick because you really have to put a lot of thought in it. I'm just doing it for the sake of time, so we have a little bit more time to really work on the graphics. All right, so we have one artboard, preset details. Usually the bleed is something you add when you create a print, and a bleed is actually an extension of your artwork, so it gives you a little extension here. We can, for example, pick 1 pixel. Usually it's 0.125 inch, so a little frame around your artwork that helps the production. Because if you are printing on, for example, a letter size paper and the printer has to cut off a little piece of it after the print, this is what the bleed is for. So he doesn't really cut anything of your artwork, and all the text and everything and all the presets that you put are still intact. All right, let's do this. Cool, we have our artboard now here. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to quickly transfer these over to my work file. Of course, I could have created an artboard in my other file, but I just wanted to show you guys how I do this from scratch for the ones of you who don't know. All right, so I have this color palette here already. One way to create a color palette is also to create little squares like this, and you can choose the color picker and pick the color from the artwork that you have. You can do that, and then I'm just gonna multiply this one and just gonna grab another color, just because I want to have some kind of idea of what those colors could be. Of course, I might change those later. I really like this this petrol blue. I'm just gonna copy paste those 3 so it's easier and quicker. All right, and y'all, it's going to be a Behance project afterwards, so I'm kind of already preparing for that. I might even go ahead and make those all circles. For example, I could go ahead like this and make it a circle, so it kind of looks more, appealing, depending on the way I want to present my brand on Behance or to the client. Okay, so let's see. I have already got this one. Let me grab this one again. Or you can just go ahead and click these colors here. So if you can see, this is our color palette, and it's very easy to access. So you click on the object you want the color to be, and then you just click on the color, and bam, it's already that color. Very, very easy. Okay. All right, guys, we already have some good colors here. I really like this contrasty, earthy tone, but I also really like this yellowish, which I might even make even more brighter. I might go ahead and do something more greenish, something like this, something more poppy. And as you can see, this also will create a great contrast for this color. By the way, if you want to bring something to the front, you can right click, arrange, bring to front, or there is also a shortcut for this. Arrange, and you can see this little shortcut here. You can use that. Okay, cool. All right, I think this is a good color combination. And what I usually do is I create something like this where I can see how color on color looks like, because I will be mixing the brand colors and you know, creating new kind of designs. Cool. Hi Alberto, hi Eric, hi Kara. Cool. Voodooval, thanks. Yeah, I really love a little contrast from these earthy tones to this very puppy green. I recently got a jacket that's like very lime green, and I really love it. Every time I go somewhere, everybody's like, oh, I love your jacket. So it's just fun to have something different for once. All right, let's see. Oops. That's not what I wanted. So to go back to the arrow, you just click V. So for example, I'm on the brush tool right now, and if I click V, I go back to the select tool. Okay, so I believe this color could also look good on here, but it doesn't create a lot of contrast. So in case you don't know, copy pasting things, you just click on the object, press Option, and drag it away. Okay, cool. I kind of like this. Let's see about the other color combinations. So let's take a look at this one. So I'm just going to make a copy of this. I'm going to make a little stripe or something similar. I mean, it doesn't always have to be the same shape. It can also be different shapes, just to bring in the creativity. I'm going to bring these to the back. There we go. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. Let me see how this looks with the other colors. And what I also like to do is send these to back. What I also like to do is to really zoom in, and then you can really see the color very intense, because this is a gray background sometimes also affects the way colors look. So when you zoom in, you really see only the colors, and it kind of gives you a good idea. And then I also like to zoom out to see, aha, okay, this is a really good contrast here. So I might go for one of these. Okay, let's try the same thing with a different color. Let's do that. And now, aha, okay, I filled it with color, but I can't see it. So that means that this shape is in the background. What I do is I arrange it, bring it to front. There we go. And again. Aha, okay, so there is already some things coming out. I kind of like this. And also, guys, when I'm thinking about branding, I was telling you that I was thinking about how the packaging looks like on the shelf, right? So if you have these four, for example, they kind of all look very different. I mean, the colors are all pretty bright. That's the thing that unites them. But what I'm also kind of sometimes sketching out is something like this. Hopefully it gets sharp. So basically I want to make a transition between the different packages and kind of unite them. So you can see it's one whole brand. Yes, it has 3 different items, 3 different units, but it's a whole brand and it's a whole experience. And you also want to make the people buy all the different 3 vitamins, right? Because they look so good together and they work together really well. So that's my message behind this. All right, it's always good to find some kind of connection that the different products of product line have. So you can either use similar shapes, you can use similar colors, or you can use a transition, for example, like a wave or a shape that kind of connects all 3. I really like to do that because that really makes a product stand out on a shelf. Okay, cool. So we have some kind of color palette here. I kind of like this so far. I really like this. I feel like this pink here could be a little bit more cleaner, more brighter, because pink kind of reminds me of youth. It reminds me of you know, skin tone, skin color. That's you know how when you, for example, when you work out and then your face turns a little bit red, but on the other hand you kind of look more fresh and more like as if you did something. Okay, I'm kind of digging this right now. So let me go ahead and make the other ones the same. Okay. Yeah, it kind of does look fresh. Let me make a copy of this and create a different yellow that might work better with our purpose. I want to make it a little bit more intense. Okay, we'll see. And then maybe another version of this to make it a little bit more greenish, more poppy. So for that, you can just move this little slider here, and then you can move either more in the warm direction, which is the orange direction, or in the cooler direction, which is this lime green. I kind of like this. Okay, let me put this in the background. Okay, as you can see, I have a variety here. We can try out what looks best. And we have some colors already. Let's jump into the typefaces. So what I do for that, and I really recommend you guys checking this out. What you can do is you can go on to fonts.adobe.com, and there you can pick your typeface. So I'm going to type in Lively, and I'm going to increase this a little bit just because I want to see how it would look like as a plain text logo. I think I will go for something sans serif first, so I pick it here in the classification, sans serif, and then I want something more bold. Let's go ahead and type something more, pick the properties as bold weight. Width, I'm gonna go for a medium width. Okay, I'm coming closer to what I'm looking for. Actually, for my DJI banner is looks like a very modern type of font that I might even check out and might even go ahead and download. Okay, and for my DJI deck, sounds like they're kind of familiar, but not quite. They're different font families. This one looks great too. I feel like the whole row here could work with my brand. Okay, let's see the family. Why I'm gonna take a look at the family is because sometimes when I'm picking a typeface for a logo, I'm going to be reusing this typeface, for example, to create banners and so on. But I would, for example, choose a lighter weight to type something, or you know, choose caps, or you know, use the same typeface but in a different way. Let me know if you guys have any questions, please. I'm looking at the chat right now. I can definitely answer. Tunch is saying my favorite font for my DJI banner. Yay! Yeah, I think this is a very cool Helvetica style typeface that we're going to be. Vikash is asking, am I also using www.myfonts.com? You can definitely import typefaces into your libraries. So what I do for that is there is something on the Mac that's called Fontbook, I think. So what you have to do is, if you download a typeface, you have to just drag and drop it into your system fonts, which is Fontbook. So that's a very easy way, and then that typeface that you downloaded also appears in your Adobe fonts. I mean, in your typefaces here, in your apps. Okay. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I think I might even go ahead and okay, let me see what we had before. The banner one, I think, was really good for our brand. Let's go ahead and view this family. It seems like it's more bold, and the letters are closer together, which I kind of like. It's kind of easy to read also. Okay, I'm going to activate all these fonts. For that, you just click here, all fonts, activate all fonts. And then those fonts are getting synced into your library. So now, when I'm going to open my Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever application you have from Adobe, you can, okay, it's loading a little bit because it's downloading the typefaces now. So now what you can do is you can go ahead and click banner. Here, there we go, Format DJR banner. Okay, let's pick this one. And now when I'm creating a little window here, it already kind of pops up. Let's take a larger size here and type lively. Lively. Aha, look, kind of already looks really good. Wow, I kind of like this already, even though it's 3 different colors, but it really looks very lively because this citrusy color kind of gives this, you know, kick. This could be a vitamin C bottle color. So this, I really like this already. Let's go ahead and try something else. Let's go ahead and take the same typeface, but you know, give it a little variation. So guys, now since we don't have a lot of time, I'm not gonna create 100 variations of the logo. This is usually what I do. Like I create a lot of variations of the logo, and then I pick the favorites, and from those I create another round of variations. So I basically spread the variations that I've picked before. And depending on the client, depending on what type of service they pick, and depending on the size of the company, it can go up to like 100 variations in the beginning. Then you do a second phase and a third phase and a fourth phase. So usually I do between 2 and 3 phases of variations. But bigger clients probably want around 5 or 6. This is my experience. I don't want to guarantee that any of the information is right, but in my experience, usually that's the amount people are asking for. It also, of course, depends on how quick you find out what the client needs and what really fits to the brand. Okay, what I wanted to do here, I would like to create a little alternative. Okay. As you can see, the bold typeface is really easy to read from far, while the thinner one, not so much, right? Okay, I would like to try this version in caps. Okay, since they're caps, they look very loud, right? So I might wanna increase the spacing between them. And here you can see we have the same typeface, and it makes such a difference to write something in caps and, you know, just adjusting the spacing between the letters. And it just looks so different, although it's the exact same typeface. So this is something you can do. Oh, look, this, I feel like this looks really good on this pink background. And I might even imagine this in white. White. Ooh, this looks so different from this, right? It could be 2 completely different brands right here, and we wouldn't even know. All right. This is awesome. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? Which is your favorite? Let me give you some numbers. 1, 2, oops, 2, 4, 3. And making decisions like this, you kind of, thank you, Akin, looks very elegant, he's saying. Cool. Tunch is suggesting dark gray. Yeah, that's definitely a good suggestion with the pink for sure. Let's put a dark gray here. Oops. While you guys are making the decision, I need you to know what you think would work for. Okay, let's make this a little bit easier. Here, I adjust a little bit. I add a little bit of color here. 3. Okay, look, they're all very different, although it's the same typeface family. There we go. 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, let's see. 2. Okay, you guys are between 2 and 3, it looks like. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, let's experiment with those two and let's see how this light pink color looks on this logo. Oops, let me make this so there's no confusion. I would also be interested in seeing how this color looks with our typefaces. Okay, let's eliminate 1. We're going for 2 and 3. And let's go ahead and experiment a little bit more with the logo itself. Okay, so I'm going to take these two. Oops. I'm going to take these two. And usually what I do is I keep it all in black first. Just because black and white create a very good contrast, and you can see how the spacing between the letters can be too big or too small. And having this contrast, you can also look from far. As you can see, this is really easy to read here when there's a lot of space between the letters, right? But I kind of really like this here. I might even give it a little bit more, what's it called again? Kerning. Okay. Yeah, I think this might already help a little with the legibility. I just increased the spacing here to 50. You can also experiment here. You can also put your custom number. You can just go ahead and do like this. Whoop, whoop. And then you kind of find the middle ground there. So I feel like this is good. Yeah, I might go ahead and try a different typeface just because I want the L to be a little bit, you know, to have a little bit more liveliness. Or lively. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, green is for life, Ashi. That is, I agree with that. And especially this minty green kind of has a lot of strength in it. A lot of life. Cool. Carol is saying much better with some air. Yeah, I agree, for sure. It's kind of suggesting you can bring the letters a little bit closer and turn the font border. So you mean outline, right? Okay, let's try this out. Okay, let's bring them really close. Like -40, for example. Ooh, very close, yeah? Okay, so now what you're suggesting is I'm going to outline this to create the outlines. So to outline something, you get away from this editing section of you get into more working with vectors, right? So you click on your object and Command Shift and O, and bam, you have vectors now. And now you can modify every single letter just the way you want it. We're not gonna do this for now, but we might experiment with this later. So the suggestion was to create a white border, as far as I understood, right? Ooh, that kind of looks cool. I like this. This is a good idea. Now let's try and move this Y a little bit closer here. Aha, and now you see what's happening because this little line here is divided by this white line. And now this looks like an I and it's not readable anymore. Okay, let's put this back where it was. And that's how you can play with the typeface, right? You can go ahead and put them together like this. Let's put this one in the background. Send to back. Bye-bye. And then you can go ahead and send this one to back. Bye-bye. Sorry, I'm being a little annoying with my bye-bye. Okay, so this, as you can see, you can create something like this. Just, you know, feel free to experiment. It can be anything you want. Esteban is asking where I got the fonts. I got the fonts on fonts.adobe.com. Okay, this is the site where I got the fonts from. And here we are going to look for another typeface that has a little bit more interesting L, because the L stands for lively, and we might even use the L by itself later on. So let's take a look. What kind of L's do we have here? We have this L with a little edge. We have this L that has a little curl in it. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, the more rounded the typeface gets, the more friendly it looks. So if you have a brand that needs a friendly appeal, or for example, a brand that's supposed to be for kids, or for teens, you want to make it friendly and approachable. So this is, for example, a very typical typeface that you will see on logos for kids products or babies products. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of any of that so far. What we might go ahead and try is picking a serif. Let's see what a serif will do. Okay, look at this. This is really interesting because this typeface is very playful. We can put it in as a contrast. Belly typeface. Thomas is asking a question. Did you have on Illustrator weird delay when you transforming, resizing rectangle shapes? Drag on one of the side left and right, check if you have same issue. Not really. It might be your system, your computer system, that it's too slow to process Illustrator, and that's why it kind of keeps on lagging a little bit. So there, I would take a look at your computer setup. I actually didn't have any problems so far. Okay, all right. Edmund is asking, can you please remind me of the keyboard shortcut to outline text and transform type into vectors? Okay, that was, if you click on the object, it has to be a text object. You on the Mac, it's Command Shift and O. All right, for outline. And I'm gonna go back. Okay, now this is exciting, guys. Let's go back to our belly. Belly looks really good to me. I think I'm gonna try out and type lively here. And here I can see, ooh, this is really nice. I might go for this one. Oh, it's actually already activated on my, I was looking at this earlier, so. Okay, so I'm gonna try out belly. Let's go ahead and copy this, copy paste. And let's use our belly on this. Belly. Ooh, I like this. It's very playful. It's really cool. I love the E. The E kind of stands out a lot. Let's try this in caps. I don't really like it. Let's go ahead and try like this. Lively. Also, you want to make a decision for your brand, right? So how does the brand appeal? For me, it's attracting a modern young person. So for me, these both typefaces will be great. On the other hand, I'm thinking about the first capital letter L, and I think there we better go with lowercase. We can try those out. Okay, we have a couple options already. This is actually really cool. Let's take a look if we might find something something more interesting here in the typefaces. Cool. Ashi, you've been having a lot of problems. Let us know what type of problems. Maybe I can help you. Akin is saying could look even better on color. Yeah, I definitely agree. Color, of course, brings the life to the brand in the end. But there's different aspects to a brand, right? So there's color, there's different shapes that you're using that kind of form the appeal. Ooh, big Kaslan. Love it. Let's try this out. It looks more classy. Serif typefaces usually look a little bit more classy, right? What do you guys think? Okay, I'm going to activate all of those typefaces. Kevin is suggesting maybe do something to emphasize life. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Okay. Designer Javid is asking how long will be this live stream. So I'm streaming until about 2 p.m. And after this, there is more. Today is a packed day, so stay tuned. It's going to be fun. All right. I have activated this one. And let's do a Kaslan here. All right. Kaslan. Ooh, okay. Let's take a bold one. We want to be bold, right? Okay. Let's do this. And here I might go for a little less spacing. Okay. Yeah, let me know your favorite fonts. Not songs. Or let me know your favorite songs also if you like. Okay, all right, let's go ahead. So what I'm doing with this is usually before I outline all of those, I make a copy so I can still remember what typeface it was. And I'm gonna move this to the side a little bit for now. This is the same one as that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and outline all of those. And I'm going to spread them out a little bit just because I want to create some variety. Oops. I want to create some variety in the logos. Okay. This could be one version. All right. Okay, Thomas is... Okay, let me try this out. So you're having problems in resizing two rectangles, right? I don't have no problems with that. It might be your system that's a little inefficient. I would definitely, while working on apps large like this or you know, film editing, photo editing apps, I would definitely try and close all the other ones, just because then your computer can really concentrate on the one that you're working on. Yes, Mehdi is asking, are these fonts free? Yes, if you go onto fonts.adobe.com, these fonts, they're all included in your CC subscription, so you can activate them all for free if you have the subscription, of course. Okay, all right, this one is already kind of outlined. I'm really excited how these are going to meet. So let me create some variations here. As you can see, my artboard is already really messy. That's not how I'm going to present this to the client, right? I am going to later on create single artboards with different logo variations. I mean, if I would present it to the client. Of course, now it's just a little exercise for us. So I'm not really going to create a client presentation. But from a Behance project, for sure, I'm going to use the logo and put it on a single sheet of artboard. Single sheet of artboard. Okay, so if I zoom out here, if I look closely, I already can see this typeface here. I can already see this typeface as part of our brand. I can see this typeface as part of our brand. And I can see this typeface. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not sure about the shapes here because it is very edgy, but then it's also very round. So I might go ahead and stay away from this one. I really like the sans serif so far. What do you guys think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Cool. One rectangle and resize it. Yes, I'm resizing a rectangle. It works pretty well, Thomas. Let's, if you have a problem with this, you might ask in the Discord channel. There is also questions hashtag that you can go into and ask the question. Maybe somebody else has the same problem. Domus titling font. Good suggestion. I might go for these for now, just because of the sake of time. We are also going to review some of your creative challenges in a little bit, so make sure to submit those. I think it's in about 40 minutes. So submit those, and I'm gonna give you live feedback on those. Cool. All right, so let's take this away for now, and let's do some experimenting. Okay, let's go ahead with this one. I'm just gonna copy paste this. Okay, what does this say? Lively. Okay, I think somebody was suggesting to you know, separate the live, just because it's a very strong word, from the ly. So I might go ahead and try something. So I'm gonna ungroup these for now, just because I want to experiment with the single letters. So what I do for this is, right now it's a group, because that, you notice when you click on one of the letters and all of them get selected. What you do here to ungroup is Command Shift and G on the Mac, and Command and G. So now look, all the letters are different, are separated, right? So now if you want to group them again, you are selecting all of those and you're pressing Command and G, and now they're one entity, right? Okay, so what can we do here to make this more interesting or more exciting? So what I see here is that the I dot is kind of not really on the same height as the L. So I might go ahead and, okay, I'm gonna ungroup that again. Okay, the I is grouped by itself as well, so I'm gonna ungroup that too. And now, oops, did I ungroup that? Ungroup, and now ungroup. Okay, let's do this. So basically, if you double click on a group, it gets into the group itself, and then you can play with the elements of the group. So now I basically put the I on the same height as the L. What else can we do here? We can see how, I don't know. Actually, I really like this by itself so far, but let's try and experiment a little bit with the spacing, just to see what we can do. We can do something like this. Lively, lively. Okay, so sometimes it helps to pronounce the word, and maybe you want to put an intonation on the I, so you can create something like this, lively. Okay, let's see. And if you want to level things, you can select two objects. Then you can select one as a key object. So basically the V will take orientation on the I now, and you can put them so they're on the same level. Again, how you do this, you mark two objects, and then you have the align section up here. And for all of you friends who are new to Illustrator, I really recommend to use the properties panel up here. So you go to Window, and here you will see the properties panel. Mine is activated. If yours is not, I highly recommend you using that, because that panel always shows you the options for the single object that you selected. So here right now, since I'm selecting two objects, what can I do with them? So I can align them, right? And if I click on vertical align, oops, oops, I don't know where this is disappearing. Anyway, so let's say my letter V and my letter I are not on the same level. So I can go ahead and do this. Oh, why does it disappear? Oh, okay. So the problem is that I picked here align to the artboard, but I'm going to align to selection, okay? So I'm going to go back. And now I picked align to selection, so means the I is the key object that the V is going to take orientation on. And we click again, vertical align, and then the V goes on the same level at the bottom as the I. Yeah, Kevin, good suggestion. Make the V a heart. That's a really good idea. So, okay, so what about if we make a very abstract heart? How about we do something like this? Right? It kind of already reminds you of a heart, but not really. And what we can do here as well is we can go ahead and change this angle here a little bit. Okay, we'll have to do something different. Okay, what we can do here is, let's do it like that. There is a million ways to do this, by the way, guys, but you can select yours the way you like it. I'm going to do this for now, just to see how this looks when it's rounded. Okay, sometimes you want to move things around and not be limited by the pixels or the way your object is kind of jumping. So what you do here is, I think it is here. So we go to view and we can decide what our object snaps to. We can snap to grid, snap to point, but I'm gonna unselect this just because I want to move my object freely, right? I don't want to be limited to pixels. I don't want to be limited into anything else. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see how this will change things. Let's see how this will, or I can also just create a custom letter. If I go ahead and pick my pen tool, I can go ahead like this. And make my custom letter, because why not? Because why not, guys? Why not? This is what your mindset should be. Why not? Why not create my own typeface? Let me actually quickly do this. Oops. Copy paste. And let me take this to the side just because I want to see what is this doing. And my crazy little circles here. Let's see what this does. Again, now I'm not doing anything high fidelity. This is just for me an experiment, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. So I just want to see how this looks, right? And that's the purpose of this design right now. It's not the purpose to create a perfectly vectorized letter. The purpose is to experiment. Let's make those. Let's align those again. Vertical align so they get on the same level. Bam. Okay. This already looks a little bit more like I want it to. Okay. Okay. This could be something like that. This could be a heart. Heart T, V, kind of. Okay, we can also just make a real heart if we wanted to. Do you guys know how to make a heart? There's different ways, by the way, But what I'm gonna do is, again, I'm gonna go ahead and create 2 ellipses. Copy paste, put them right next to each other, and then what I'm doing is I'm creating a rectangle about this size, just turning it. So guys, if you're turning and holding shift, then it will only turn in 45 degrees. So that will give you a good precision. Okay, let's extend this a little bit. Okay, again, this is just a prototype, guys, so don't feel too concerned about this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a divide, so I can just remove any shapes that I don't need. There we go. And I have a heart, and then I can unite this so it's a single shape. Cool. As you can see, it's a little lower than all of our letters. We can do something like that, or we can just resize it proportionally. Okay. There we go. It seems very dominant right now, this heart, just because it has a lot of this black space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same color. Lively. It works. I mean, it's an idea. And this is how I'm working down the line here, and then I'm jumping to the next, creating another 3, jumping to the next, creating another 3. Maybe there is some kind of combinations we can do to combine the ideas to create a better one by combination, because this is what design all is about, right? Design is just a combination of the experiences or things we have seen before in our life. All right. Jonathan is saying, I prefer the idea of the red V. Yeah, right now we're just collecting ideas, you know. This is a very extreme concept here. And I think a heart is usually used a lot, so it's kind of maybe a little overused, especially if it comes to medication for like heart medicine, packaging for heart medicine. You will see the heart a lot on it. So I might even go ahead and just grab one of these, bam, and that will be my logo. But it's just nice to experiment a little bit and to see what can be done. All right, what I can also do is here I can use the eye kind of as showing like a curve of, you know, going up, so your energy level will go up. It sounds very promising to me. And it also reminds of productivity. Productivity goes up, or heart rate goes up. It's not always good, but it speaks for activity. It speaks for, you know, being physically active. And it can also be a connection between the two here. So it can be a connection between the I and the V, right? Could be. Why not? And maybe we can even add a dot on the I to make it even more exciting, like a ball that's rolling up the hill. Bam. This could be, again, this is just a draft. This is not a ready-made logo. It's just a concept idea that I just, you know, put together. Oops. And then we can go ahead and create ideations of that, because I think this is kind of a good concept, a strong concept. Here we can maybe do something like this. You know, just creating more variations of our idea. Let's jump to the next one. This all has to happen really quickly, so don't be too detailed on this. Whoops, forgot to copy paste. And here what we can also do is, for example, again, I'm gonna put the dot on the same level as the L ends, just so it looks united, it looks good. What we can also do is work with something like a frame. Let's say we're gonna create a little frame here. And we're gonna do the stroke, same exact thickness or weight as the typeface we've chosen. Okay, this kind of looks cool, I would say. Kind of looks interesting. We could work with that. It can stand by itself. But what I think we could do here is, so to work with a line, so right now this is just a vector with an outline, right? To work with this as a shape, as this, line shape, we go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Now our stroke is outlined and our vectors are on both the sides of the stroke. So now we can work with this as follows. We can, for example, create a little cutout. Let's take a rectangle. Let's make it white so we can see what we're cutting out. Okay. And let's put this here. Let's put it in the same angle as the Y. Make it nice and straight for now. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to cut this rectangle out of our line shape. So what I do is I select them both, and then I just go to the Pathfinder and click this one for a compound shape. And there we go. Look, it already looks a little more exciting, a little bit more interesting. What I want to do here also is I can extend the Y a little bit. So I go ahead and just create this little extension here. Because why not? Because we can. Let's play with this for a little bit. Okay, look, now you already kind of have an idea how this could look like, right? We could also have done this by creating an outline to the Y, but then we would have to outline that to cut it out from this rectangle. All right, this is kind of turning out interesting. It's a bit of a different concept that we have up here. I kind of like it. Let's try this frame to be in a different color. We can have it be our brand colors because we're kind of already getting into the color, right? So let's connect our little shape here to the Y and make it compound shape right there. So it's already belonging together. And since if we look closely at the typeface, we have little rounded edges here. This we can also do here by picking the direct selection tool, so we can select directly, and then we can create little soft edges here, which will make it look like it belongs together with the typeface, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing here on our frame. Gonna go to the direct selection tool, and since I want to round both of these, or actually all of these, I'm going to select all of those by holding the Shift button. And now when I'm modifying them, they all get modified the same way. Okay, you guys, we're getting closer to it. Can you see? So looking at the typeface, we want to make everything an entity, right? So if we look at this edge, for example, it's very sharp. So the inside edges are sharp, so this one stays sharp. And if we look on the outside edges, they're a little rounded. So let's do the same thing for our frame. The inside edges we're gonna keep sharp, and the outside edges we're gonna make rounded. So let's do this. Let's zoom in. They're all going to have same amount of roundness, the same shape. So if we go here, it also got changed a little bit. So now we can see that the typeface and the frame, actually let's go ahead and make it a little bit more intense. Let's pick all of these. One, oops. All right, it's back to the edge. So I want to make them a little bit more rounded so you can see this better. Okay, now you can see they're just as rounded, just about as rounded as the typeface is. And now, if you look at this, it already looks like an entity, right? I might even create a variation where I keep those sharp just because the Y kind of interrupts them, but it's actually a closed line. So there's options, but we don't want to spend too much time on one logo, right? So we want to go ahead and create maybe a variation of this. So I just copy paste this, and look, we already have 9, 10, 11, 12 variations of our logo that we can use. Okay, and okay, so what else can we do with this? Now let's remove the frame, and we have this Y, right? I can see how the L could have a shape like this, kind of pointing towards the Y, creating a little bit of playfulness. Let's try this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick the curvature tool. I'm going to create something along these lines. Let's see how this comes out. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to invert the fill to be our outline, and I'm going to decrease the opacity, and of course I'm going to make it black because we want it to look like an entity, right? Again, this is all just for experiment. You can see this curve is not perfect at all, and it's not good at all, but it's just for us to understand how this could look like. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Let's try a different curve. So I'm going to delete this one. Let me use the pencil tool actually. Whoop. Maybe something like that. And then we do the same thing here. Whoop. Aha, look. This could be interesting. This could be something interesting. Okay. Yeah, Thomas, of course, reach out to me. You can reach out to us on Discord. There's probably people who had the same issue as you did. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm actually not very techy, and I'm not I'm maybe not the right type of person. Okay, cool. Ghibli, yeah. It kind of reminds of a G, right? Ghibli. Yeah. Yeah, this is a thing you have to consider. What does it look like? How does it read? How does it read, right? All right, let's try something else. Let's try removing those, and maybe removing, or actually let me try something else here. Let me create a custom L. So what I did is I'm just taking the pencil tool, and I'm using the stroke. Let me see. Yeah, that should be just right. 7 point. I'm going to remove this. Go back to here. Just trying some L's, you know? It can be anything really. And we can combine this, maybe if we like it, we can combine this with our logo. Who knows? So what I do here when I select the pencil tool is you have usually this, let me go onto paintbrush. So usually you have like the tool settings, and I usually put it on smooth. So I smooth it out to make it nice and flowy. Oh, this L is kind of cool. Okay. Let's take a look at this. If we kind of combine this like that, could that work? It might work, it might not, but it's worth the experiment. Let's delete all of those ones that we're not gonna use. Cool, look, this is already a different variation. I had it in one group. Let me get this. Okay guys, look, we're getting to something. We're getting to something exciting. You know why? Just because this L you can use as a single symbol, and you have to keep this in mind. How are you going to use the brand assets? So let's say we have, this is our brand, right? This is our brand, and just imagine instead of this it says Lively, right? And then what we can do is we can just put our little thing here in the corner, and it already looks like a really cool logo. And what we can also do here is, let's go back here. Let's go back a step. What we can also do is we can create a little circle around this, and now this can be a stamp. Wow, exciting. Cool. I think also this L pretty much stands out from everything that we have seen. And I have not seen a brand with an L like that. That's the good thing about custom typeface, because you're the only one who has it. Nobody else can use it. And even in combination with this typeface that we've just downloaded, it still makes it very unique. Cool. How am I? I'm gonna check out your profile. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you a like. Create a sticker. Yeah, we are gonna create some more assets with you guys. We can round corners of the stroke. Yes, for sure. So how I do that is, let me copy paste this. Let me copy paste this first, just to create a little security here. Okay, so to create edges here on the L as well, because you can see the edges here of the outline are pretty sharp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and object, path, outline stroke. Bam, now we have a vector that we're working with, right? So now we're gonna go to the direct select tool, and we're going to choose these edges here, these two, and we're gonna give them a little rounding, make them a little softer. Look. Actually, I would like to work a little bit more on this curve here, just because I want them to look almost the same, just for, oops, just for the sake of being a little bit more precise than usual. But let's see. Okay, so direct select tool, I'm going to pick this one and this one, this one and this one. Okay, and round them. If you want to be more precise, you can pick the exact amount of roundness that you want. Okay, this could be something we can work with, guys, don't you think? Taper the ends, yeah, all possible. And from here we can create another million ideas. So it's really not that easy to create 100 variations. Here we already have what, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 variations, or more even, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 variations, and we've been only working for an hour, guys. So it's really not that difficult to create a lot of variations and then to pick. So now, for example, I will pick a couple concepts. So I will pick this one, I will pick this one, I will pick this one. And my absolutely favorite is actually this one, just because it has this custom L and it just makes it completely different from any other brand. And there is no way there is a brand that created the same exact shape that I've created with my hand. So this is a good, this is the good thing on custom type and hand lettering. It's all great. And right now it's really popular for that exact reason. What we can also do here is, I think we can simplify the path. Yes, simplify. Let's see how this turns out. Oh, look. Okay. Let's see how this comes out. Okay, I guess we don't have enough anchor points to simplify it, but usually if you're working with a custom type, you sometimes have a lot of anchor points, and then you want to kind of get rid of those and make it a better looking shape. Okay, this kind of already looks good. Let's see here. Okay, I feel like we might bring this one a little bit further over here. Okay. 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 It's all improvisation, guys. All improvisation. It is kind of cool. I like that it's not 100% symmetric. Let's just quickly take a look, because here we have a very round shape, and over here we have a little bit of edginess. Let's get rid of that. All right. Okay. All right, this is not perfect, guys, but if you compare it to this one, it's way better. Sorry, I'm losing my speech. Yeah. Letter Z, yes. Okay, I see how you can see a Z in this. This is possible. This is possible. Okay, how can we make it more looking more like a letter, L? We can make it more like a letter L if we change up the top part. This is a very good insight, and I like working with those insights just because. Okay, let's try another custom letter. Okay. Okay, I feel like this might even look more like a Z. Another one. Let's make the L shorter on one side and then long over here. How's that? That looks more like an L, right? It's not that symmetric anymore. Anyway, I feel like for this purpose, if you put it next to the Ivily, it might not be Zivily, so it might actually read better combined with the typeface here. Yeah, Akin is saying it looks like a cosmetic healthy brand. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, I really like this one actually. I really like this. Let's replace this L with this one. Yeah, it is a good point. It is very important to see how it reads, right? And now we want to make sure that our distances between the letters are the same or similar, that there is not too much white space. Okay. All right, guys, we don't have a lot of time anymore, but let's try and jump. I'm gonna make this logo more precise after the stream, but let's just take a look at this and try some colors on. I think that's a very exciting part. In about 8 minutes, we're going to review some of your daily creative challenge submissions, so make sure to submit those if you haven't yet. So my L here is not outlined yet, so I'm gonna outline it. Actually, let me take the one that I've worked on already. It's this one. Okay. Let's remove this and put the one that we've already worked on. Or have we? Where is that? Where is that one? Where is the one? Here is the one that we worked on. Because it already has the edges. As you can see, my artboard is really messy. But, you know, if you're a more organized person, or a person who likes to have a little bit more separation between the ideas, you can also create single artboards for every single logo. It's also easier to export at the end. All right, something like this. Could be something like this. Cool. Now let's get into the color. This is all outlined now. Let's group this. Command and G, creating a group from this. And let's see how we can work with this. I'm gonna start with this minty color. Ooh, I'm liking that. And combine it with this dark. Okay. That could work. Actually, let's move away a little bit. Or you know what I sometimes do when I'm done with all these, with all this ideation phase, I'm just taking all the objects and making them smaller. Bye bye. Oops. Okay, as you can see, our shapes here, our outlines, they stay the same even if you decrease the size of the vector. So what we have to do here is I'm just gonna take those out. No need to resize those. I'm just gonna keep them on the side. Okay. Bye bye. You're gonna stay here, and you guys are gonna move. Whoops. You guys are gonna move over here. Oh, god damn it. Sorry. All right. So, okay. So this is one color variation. Let's just copy paste this and try different other ones. Okay. This could work in this more like gray minty green. I don't even know how to call this. Andrew is saying the artboard looks organized compared to mine, what mine usually look. But if you imagine creating 100 variations of a logo, you can imagine how unorganized this this artboard will be in the end. So what I actually like that I did by accident is I picked the background color here as the color, which I kind of think could work. Oops. All right, and let's check our orange. How does our orange look like? And for that, what I also wanted to do is I wanted to create some shapes that we can reuse on our packaging or on in our assets generally. So I want to create some blobs. You know what a blob is? Who of you have ever created a blob? Okay, a blob is something like this. Basically like a potato that's weirdly shaped. Just a potato, like a weirdly shaped potato. That's what we want to do. And now I'm gonna create another blob. And another blob that's more round, or maybe like more like a triangle. Oops, we have to connect that. Okay, let's make those colorful so we have them on the side and we can use them. Colorful blobs, yes. And as you can see, those blobs on the packaging could be actually really, really cool. Now let's try something more like, wow, more active. Yay. Just a lot of blobs. Supradik is saying, I love blobs. You can use the blob brush, I guess. I just like to create my own shapes. I usually also use my iPad to do that. So that's also fun. I have my pencil laying around here. All right, more blobs. This one looks like a rock. Okay, a rock. A rock is strong. A rock is solid, right? It's strength. This is what we want to show. We want to show strength. We want to show, like, you know, believing in yourself, trusting your body. I'm just making things up right now. So yeah, let's just make another blob, just because we have the time to do so. In 2 minutes, we're going to review some of your challenges. So for now, let's make some blobs. And then we can also do some weird lines. Let's do some weird lines. Just a weird line. And then we can make it really bold. So it turns out, look, a little bit more bold. Okay, and then we can pick the color. Oh look, we have our color palette that we barely used. Oops. It's right here in my libraries. Actually, we have used it quite a little bit. Okay, this one could work. It's like a little worm that kind of crawls through the blobs. Crawls out of the blobs. Okay, these are going to the front because they're covering the worm. So this is basically how I create shapes, just randomly. You can also create more geometric shapes, but I feel like this can be really good for, you know, combining the different things that vitamins do with us. So if I use the blobs that are a little bit more like edgy, they can, for example, stand for vitamin C, or the one that's more brown can stand for minerals, or, you know, like trying to find ways to explain the brand through color and through shape. That's what I'm basically doing. Okay. All right. And let's take a look at your daily creative challenge submissions, guys. So as I say, this is our challenge page here that you can submit your artwork to. I'm going to refresh this just so I have the newest news, the newest submissions. And blue could be magnesium. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to go more into mocking things up, maybe creating some packaging mock-ups, how, you know, a banner could look like, or a website. So, all right, cool. All right, so here you can see today's challenge. If you click up here, there's always the today's challenge. Samantha is introducing. So today's challenge is text and fonts. And when we go back to the challenge tab here, we will see all of your guys' submissions. So let's go through a couple of them and see how you guys worked. Hey, cool. I'm really liking this. I think this has a lot of good balance here. Let me see who that is. Tunç Budak. Yeah, you're in the chat. You were in the chat today. I have seen you. I really like the way you have adjusted your custom monogram to the typeface, because it's similarly rounded and similar, you know, edges applied, a similar weight of the lines. I really like this. I think it came out amazing. Really cool. All right, there's more coming. There's more coming. Okay, let me go to the top and then I'm gonna see. Wow, some animation work going on here. This is amazing. You have seen Jason before, huh? He was showing some animation. Oh no, never mind. Jason was doing some video editing, but there was some animation today in the morning as well. This is really cool. I really like this. Came out amazing. JCG reads really well. I think although the C has this little extra stripe that could indicate a G, just because the other G is so much more dominant, it gives you a really good way, you know, to see the difference between those letters. What do you guys think? Akin, yeah, Tunç, yeah, you guys, is that a Turkish name? Am I just, I had a friend whose name was Akin, so I know a couple of Turkish names. In Germany, I had a lot of Turkish friends, and çok güzel. So I know a couple of Turkish words also. Great job, Julie. Let me know if I'm pronouncing it right. Okay, this is cool. I really like the way you added this vector point here, you know, how it looks in Illustrator. Actually, it kind of makes it look professional. You know how the architects sometimes add some elements of their you know, house plans or something, like little shapes and little patterns that they use to have a better orientation. So yeah, I really like this. I really like this little drop form inside the D. I think it came out really cool. Maybe there's a way to translate this exact same shape into the E. I'm thinking about that, or making, because right now all the letters are kind of trying to outperform themselves. So you have the N. Okay, the N is kind of more the chill letter. The O is orange and it has this signature element at the bottom, and then the D has this like a drop in it, and the E is kind of has this edge cut out, so they're kind of like trying to outperform each other. I would maybe highlight the O in this case and leave the E a little bit more simple, or repeat the same edges or the same curves that you used in the letters before, just so it's a little bit more, you know, organized for the eye, so you can concentrate on one thing and not on many different things. But it does look really cool. Yeah, I'm wondering how this will look on the website. Maybe I would leave a little bit more space between the D and the E, just because if you look at the distance between the N and the O, there's a little bit more distance. So maybe more distance between the O and the D, and more distance between the D and the E. But great job. This looks amazing. Cool. Let me scroll further to the top. This was work by G-Bean. G-Bean Enjoy. Dominika Rafajova. Cool. I really like this line work that you did here. I would maybe try and see how it is if you align all the lines the same way, just so it kind of gives an orientation. I really like this element here though. I would maybe experiment with the eyes and the ends here, how that could work. The eyes maybe have the same, could have the same angle. So the colors are really cool. I think you chose this very light blue and this more sky blue. I think sky blue is always a good color for looking professional or looking you know, intelligent. They also use blue a lot on educational platforms or brands that have to do with education or business. And I also heard that blue is very calming, so if that's the character you wanted to represent, you did a really good job, Dominika. Okay. Again, for all of you guys who have not submitted yet, you can submit and we'll give you some feedback. Me personally, I'm going to give you some feedback. I'm going to be one of the mentors for the next 2 weeks. So you can definitely give me a little heads up, give me a little link me there in your post, and I'm going to give you a more detailed review. All right. City submitted this one. Okay, this reminds me of San Francisco. SF is how we call it. San Francisco SF is yeah, is a very typical way to say it. Yeah, I really like what you did here. You did a little custom S that kind of matches with the F, kind of gets into the F. So it's a really good job here. I will maybe take a closer look at the curves here, just like my logo, or maybe make this even sharp so it kind of matches all the other sharp edges, or soften the edges of the S and the F. Just experiment, just see what feels right. The colors, really like this gradient here. It's a gradient from this lighter red to a pinkish color to this yeah, flamingo pink. It is very poppy. It really stands out. So it also reminds me of Lift a little bit. Yeah. The Discord link is if you go onto the challenge tab at the top of the chat and just follow the instructions and you will be guided to the Discord channel. Okay. Wow, this reminds me of comic books and kind of having those letters that are a little bit more, how do you say, they have very wide tops and very narrow bottoms, or the other way, you know, to create more like a standing out typeface. I really like that the way you experimented here. I would maybe give a little bit more space for the H. I think this seems to be an H here, just because the left side of the H is covered by the G completely. You cannot really recognize it. It almost looks like an I with a little dongle on it. So I might give it a little bit more space and see how it looks. And feel free to post it later to see, for all of us to see how it came out. By the way, guys, if you post something like this and you made some changes on it, it's also nice to see the before and after. So I can really know that you already made some changes and this is the progress. So that would be fun to see too. Okay. Steven, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. ENS, yeah, this is a very good job. I really like the way you kind of try to abstract the letters, and maybe I would leave a little bit, kind of a little cut here to make it better understandable that it's an E and that those are two separate letters. Because otherwise you could say EVS, for example. Always consider, you know, criticizing yourself and seeing how people could misspell it or misread it. It's always good for yourself, for your own judgment. I really like the way you did the little highlights here using a gradient tool, right? So this is amazing, and I love the shadows. I'll maybe decrease the shadow a little bit, make it a little bit less opacity, or just decrease the size of it, move it closer to the letters, just so it looks more natural. Good job, Steven. Okay. Yeah. HDSN Solutions, very comic-y. Yeah, true. Scan the saying, scroll down too. I will. I'm going up, I think, up till the next one, and then I'm gonna scroll down all the way. I'm gonna go through the last ones. Yeah, Tunch is saying, just another sunny design. Almost. Okay, cool. I love the color palette here. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it better. I think this is better. It's really, really interesting how you combined the letters here. You created these little lines that have a little bit of a slant. So I don't know if that's a word, hopefully it is. Here I would recommend you using the same distances all over. So if you have this distance here, use the same distance here and here and here and here and here. So it looks more balanced, and also make sure that the lines go right where one line ends, the other one starts. So on the same, here I see there's a little bit of a misplacement. It's just very, very small details. The color palette is amazing. I feel like some of the colors we even used today, so it's great. Hopefully you got some inspiration from that. I really love this dark red and this combination with this very light yellow. I think it looks very cool. And all the colors are a little bit more calm and, you know, relaxing, which I think is really cool. And I love the way you created two variations of your logo. Great job, Shannon. Okay. All right, AJ, great work. Let me review some of those at the top a little bit later. I promise I'm gonna get back to you guys. If I've left somebody out, just ping me, just link me in your post. You can edit your post. So, all right. Cool. We're gonna do another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to jump back into my design real quick so we can sum up the things. Okay. Chocolita. Great. I think you did a good amount of experimenting. One thing that I would avoid is doing things like that where the V is very, very tiny, because if you zoom out of this, you will not be able to see the V. Really, you will just see the M and the S. So you want to make sure that the letters are almost the same size. There are still ways to, you know, to implement those in designs like yours. Awesome. Designer Javid is asking when I will stream tomorrow. I'm streaming tomorrow, same time, same place, at 12 noon Pacific time. So feel free to come back. All right, cool. It is a great job. I think you might even try some color here, some color experimenting. I would really like to see how what you come up with. AEKM. As you can see, all of your designs are good readable for me, so I mean good legible, so all in all they're fine and good. It's just a little detail sometimes, you know. Okay, all right, I like this. I like the way you kind of placed a little light between your letters and drop the shadow in front of them. Here's a little gradient that I see that you might want to decrease a little bit, just to adjust it to the same color of shadows up here. If you zoom in, you will see that this part here should be the same color as this part. So if you go along the line, it should be all the same color in your shadow. So you can just take this part and place it here. Hopefully that is helpful. It's a bit difficult to describe right now, but all in all, great job. You guys are all so good. It's amazing. Okay, Chocolita did another one. Great. Show us some color, Chocolita. I want to see how this looks in color. Okay, statue. Oh, I really like this because you can really implement your fantasy, your imagination, and imagine the T, how it goes here. So I can really read ST really well, and it builds a rectangle, which is the perfect logo, you know, proportion. So you can literally place it anywhere and it will look good. Great job. All right, you guys, sorry I could not look through all of your submissions, but we have to kind of sum things up a little bit and wrap it up and come to an end. So thanks so much for all you guys for your patience, and I'm gonna look through all the other designs a little bit later, I promise. Yeah, Michelle is saying thanks, Julia. The V is from Van, which is a prefix for my last name. Cool. Okay, yeah, but like you can make a decision. Do you want to implement it in your logo, or how do you want to handle it? Because I think Van is a very important part of your name. Okay, guys, so let's get back to this. So another way to alter this design is what we can do with the blobs is we can copy paste them, and then we can also create different shapes from what we already have by just moving them around and seeing what works. And you can create completely different blobs in a matter of seconds. We can make this one more round. And as you can see, we can play around with those a lot. This almost looks like a hand or something. And we can make them also really tiny. Really tiny. Let's experiment. Let's see how this looks. We can make them really wide and different. We can also make something like this. If we, for example, copy paste a line, we can create, let me use a different color here. I think we can do better. Maybe this light pink. And then what I want to do is here, I want to show you guys a little trick that I sometimes use in my pattern designs. So what I do is I create a blend between those two. And if I click make blend, you will see that there is basically a middle step. You can decide how many steps it will have. You can create that in blend options. So if I click preview, okay, let me see. Blend. Okay, should work actually. Okay, smooth color. We want to do specified steps over here. So let's say we want to do 5 steps, right? So we can create something like this, and then after creating that, by double clicking, we can go ahead and, you know, just create different shapes. And then overlaying those designs that we already have, it kind of gives a little pop, you know. And I would also like to create a copy of this and make it in a, okay, all right, in a more minty, limey color so that we can reuse this later on. Okay, look, this already kind of gives a little character. You can make them real small. You can adjust them the way you want to, combine them with the blobs. So this gives us a lot of variety on how we can create things. And for our packaging, we can reuse those. We can rearrange them and create something that looks very similar to each other. So that's what a brand is all about. You kind of want to use similarities. It can be shapes, it can be colors, it can be typefaces. So our 3 different packagings will all have a similar character just because we're reusing the elements. Yeah, Ashley's saying much better. Okay. I have elven ears. Yes, that is true. I can hear it really well. My dad always used to say that I must be a good listener. Yeah, you guys, it was so exciting for all of you. Thank you so much all for joining. And we're coming to an end for today. As you can see, as you saw, we already have our shapes, we have some colors, we have picked some typefaces, we have created our logo, and tomorrow we're gonna sum everything up and we're going to do some prototyping, and it's gonna be exciting because our brand is going to come to life, and this is where we actually will see how it looks like. So stay tuned and follow me on Instagram, Just Another Sunny Girl, and I'm always happy to answer your questions if you have any for freelance design work or anything else. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I think we have a couple more minutes left. Thanks, Howard. Howard is saying great stream. That's a great comment. Yeah, Kyle T. Webster is next. Stay tuned. He's going to do some sketching with you guys. Thanks, Vuduval, for posting my Instagram. Yeah, cool. Bye, Jerry. Bye, everyone. Cool. Tunch, I'm great. You really liked and enjoyed this. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we do have some time for questions. So if you have any questions, let me know. Paulo is from Brazil. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, guys, stick around. Make sure to not miss Howard's live stream. He's going to be live in a couple of minutes when I'm done here, and he's going to introduce you to some UX and UI design. And I think UX and UI is always a great tool to have, to create better designs, create more holistic experiences for your clients. So that is awesome. All right, you guys, I'll see you on my Instagram or tomorrow. Andrew is asking how long I have been designing. I have been designing for over 5 years now, a little bit over 5 years. Julia, you're welcome. Yeah, Malini. All you guys come back tomorrow. I'll see you then. I'll have to say bye-bye now. See you. Bye.